Hi friends, welcome to the fourth video of the fifth week of the process mining course. In this video I'm gonna explain the variant analysis, how to perform that for the outcomes of the conformance checking. Variant analysis takes two event logs and it checks for the performance differences between these two logs and the differences over the activity distribution, the number of trace variants, the distribution of activities, the work in progress, the activity over time, and more. So I'm gonna explain that in details in this video. First, I need to show this template for you. This is like a checklist that you can use when you do the variant analysis inside your organization. First, you check the flow comparison. Basically, you can open these two event logs side by side and discover the differences over the process models or the process map there. Well, there would be some differences on gateways, on the execution of events, and from that you can decide what happened between the different performances inside the event log. The second type is going to be the frequency or the work comparison, and you can do that also side-by-side analysis of the event logs. And the third one is going to be bottleneck comparisons. Let's dig in details of for every step there of this checklist. So, for example, if I have an event log and I have fast cases and slow cases, I can take the event log and I can filter the cases into two separate event logs. The first log is going to be the fast cases and second log is going to be the slow cases. And then I will put them both side by side and I'm going to compare the flow, the process map there that exists there. For example, here we have the fast cases on the left-hand side and the slow cases on the right-hand side. As you can see that there is a created activity followed by waiting for support and then followed by resolved. This is for the fast cases, which represents 75% of the cases. However, the slow cases has the created activity followed by waiting time, but after that, the waiting time is either followed by a resolved or the waiting for customer, and there is even a loop there. This is one of the simplest way of comparing two event logs. This kind of comparison can be enabled by making a filter. So we apply a filter for the event log, and we make the event log to be into two different logs. The first one, for example, is going to be short case duration, which is going to be the fast cases, and the long case duration, which is the slow cases, and then we can compare them side by side. As shown here, we can see that the one on the top is the slow and the one on the bottom is the fast one. This is the first way of performing the variant analysis. The second way of performing analysis is to use multiple log dashboards. As you can see here, we have two logs in our dashboard and we can compare different things like events over time, work in progress, the frequencies of activity occurrences per case, and more. And also we can do an animation, so we can perform an animation for two event logs together, and that will help us to have an idea about the different bottlenecks over time of the two event logs that we have. We can start having the first example. So here we have the sepsis cases event log. The sepsis cases event log, we can have a rule-based conformance checking that tells us the time between the emergency room registration and the emergency room triage should not exceed 30 minutes. We can make a filter for that, but first we need to make sure that we have the cases that has already been finished. So I'm gonna make a filter for the releases. Now we have all the releases there, so now we have the first filter, which is all the cases has been finished. The second filter is gonna be the pass filter, which will state that the emergency room registration followed by the emergency room triage, and the upper bound is 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna remove this is like the cases that are conformant. So I will keep that. So I will keep the conformant cases and I will label them. I will export the log and I will call it sepsis cases normal. So now I know that this is the expected ones. It should be like that. Then I'm gonna have I will change the filter. So I will remove the cases that that are conformant. So I will keep the cases that violate this rule. So here I have the cases that violate this rule, and I'm gonna export that to another event log. I will call it event log violation. So these are the cases that violates this rule. So here I have two event logs, sepsis cases normal and sepsis cases violation. The first one is to look side by side. So I will open the two event logs here. It's side by side, so I will have this one. And then I'll make the orientation looks like that. So here I have the cases side by side, the event logs side by side. As you can see, there is a difference in the flow itself, maybe in the frequency of some cases. However, this kind of absolute number comparison doesn't make sense because we are comparing two different number of cases. A smart way of doing that is by changing the frequency to be a relative case. So it's a percentage of cases, because here we will compare the relative value, not the absolute value, which makes sense because the size of two event logs are different. So here we have different percentage for some activities. So this is the first step that we can do for a variant analysis. The second step is to take both the event logs and show them over the dashboard. So I'm gonna make here a dashboard. Again, it's really smart to have a relative frequency. So this is the relative over time, and this is the relative over time. The red one is the cases that violates the regulation, and the blue one is the cases that are normal. So as you can see, there is something has happened already between like something in August till October. It has happened that there is a violation that exists here in this event log, in these two event logs. So I'm gonna also switch to the activities, and I can swap to the relative frequency. So I will have here the differences of the the activities over the cases. So here you can see that some activities has different distribution from one case to the other, from one event log to the other. Also, you can compare the activities here. So they have the same activities, but the average activity frequency here in the normal one is more than the average activity frequency here, because again it's not relative, it's absolute values. But you can compare over the case duration. For example, the normal one has an average case duration of 1.2 months. However, the violation has an average case duration of 1.14. And also the maximum duration for the normal one is over a year. However, the maximum for the violated one is 8 months. It may be quite interesting that there's some kind of a shortcut that happens inside the organization, and it has a better performance because it has been discovered by the employees. Maybe it can be used for a further improvement of your business process. In this video we have already explained the how to perform the case variant over the dashboard and over side-by-side comparison. The last one is gonna be to animate the execution of these two logs together. For example, I have here the sepsis cases normal and sepsis cases that violates, and I have the ppmn model of the sepsis cases. I can just click here and I'll bring the animation. So the animation helps because like you can discover the several bottlenecks here. We were suspicious of August, right? So in August, you can see the execution from the violation. There is some bottleneck here that doesn't exist with the blue one, because the blue one is the normal one. Also, it can be seen here again, and so on. You can do that with the event logs that you have. Again, the idea was to take the event log and applying the filters, and then after that you can export the event logs into the event log that you have after filtering into several event logs based on your rules, and then compare every log to the other. You can compare them side by side. You can compare them using a multi-log dashboard. You can compare them using the animation. So that's what have been covered in the 5th week of the process mining course. And the next week, I'm gonna explain the process performance and how to use the variant analysis between different branches, between different locations within the event log. See you next week.